Welcome to the Regaining Consciousness podcast, where colored lives matter, talking about colored issues that is affecting us all, growing up in our community. You know, a lot is being said about the colored child, not knowing who the colored child really is, you know, because our identities getting mixed up and people is telling our stories when they never lived our reality. Right, Brother Dion? I'm Brother L. This is our first episode, mense, but it is needed because not a lot is being said about who we are as people, man. Not a lot is being explained because now you get a lot of differences, you get a lot of opinions about who we are, and that's where the clash is coming because now we are people at the root itself. Understand, we are breaking each other down instead of holding each other up. So if we share more of our stories, we can then start to relate more, and then we will realize that we are stronger when we are a unified people, you know, because we need to be united in a time like this. We see the persecution, we see what is happening with our people, but if we're going to remain silent, that is when we're going to start dying. Understand, that is death already, to remain silent when you see your brothers and sisters being oppressed in a system. We talk about things that is affecting us, colored mense. This is our first episode, so you are welcome to like and subscribe to our channel, because the more we have on board, the more it can reach, you know, the people out there to understand where we're coming from, and when they hear we talk, when they hear we say certain things, so that they cannot become offended, you know, and judge us according to our words. They need to judge us according to our actions. But in order for them to judge us according to our actions, they need to know where we're coming from. So that's what we're gonna talk about. Today's topic is gonna be the essence of being a colored person. What is your view on that, my brother?
The essence of being a colored person, for me, it's a bit deep, you know. And if you ask me what is a colored person, in first perspective, what I was taught in school is a bit different of what I came to learn when I finished school. Right? Daar was 'n tyd wat vir my gesê het, we sit 'n kleerling is soos 'n koffie maak, ja. Yes, is it when you mix black and white and you get a colored person. That was told to us. Right? You can go wherever you want. If you ask even a black person, where do you think colored come from? He'll tell you from, it came with the oppressors when they raped only black women, they cut a colored child. But that is wrong.
It's wrong, yeah.
It's a misconception which was spread, and that's what we hear every day. So for me, being colored, it's a bit of a, like you calling a dog, or calling a beautiful person an animal, because colored, the word colored itself, it was meant to degrade us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's meant to be. If you've watched one of the series where it said colored came, I can't remember where it came from, but it said that colored meant that it was a soulless being. It has no inheritance, it has no land, it has nothing towards it, it's just there. So for me, colored essence, it's something beautiful because we made something out of nothing. They thought they were going to oppress us with the word, but somehow we made the culture out of it.
And they thought they could oppress us, but we overcame that, understand? And we are regaining consciousness. We are starting to embrace this thing.
Yeah.
The word colored, in my understanding, it came when the British was colonizing South Africa, you know. Then they divided the African into two styles, mainly being native and colored. And by being said, they colored because they couldn't place us in a native box because of the texture and the melanin of skin color, because that's how the white man used to view us, understand? They judge people according to skin color, you know. When they see in their mind they white or whatever the case, and they see a person that is darker than them, then automatically it's a black person.
Yeah.
Understand? So that's where the term was created, because they couldn't place us in boxes because we are of different shades of color as a colored person, understand? And their confusion at the end of the day created our confusion as a people, understand? Because they didn't know who we were. But they knew who we were because we were indigenous to the land.
Yes.
Understand?
Yes. We were warriors.
Away.
We were hunters. We were gatherers.
When they divided the African into two styles, native and colored, they took people of the Khoi, the San, or as you say, Kam,
Yeah.
and Khoi people and different tribes, and place all that people in boxes, as well as we mustn't forget the slaves that they brought here, whether it was from Angola or the St. Helena Islands, from India, from Malay, all that. They placed these people then in boxes and named them colored.
Yeah.
So, what is that you want
Okay. In 1486, one of the French came here, if I'm not mistaken. His name was Diaz.
Yeah.
Right? He founded one of the things called the early map of the Cape of Good Hope, Table Bay, in the peninsula. He and his people arrived here, they found the brown indigenous people here.
Yes.
Right? And when they came here, they used to stock up on this stuff. Right? I just wanted to make sure I remember what his name was. Stock up on this stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He was here before the British. It was the French. When they found here, I can tell you, was a toy and tram that was here, which they found. And what they did was they used to trade with us. And before they came here, they used to go, actually goes way back. Because we have certain features within the color communities before the white men came that actually went into our genes years before, because they found gold here by us. If people do not understand, we were trading with I think it was the Chinese or the Japanese.
Yeah.
Before.
There was a Chinese emperor as well.
Yeah.
That came even before the white colonizers.
Yes. And
we were trading.
Yeah, we were trading with them. So there was already an established trademark of tradesmanship within.
There was already a civilization.
Yes. So the misconception is that they found us here running around, didn't know what the mirror is, didn't know what gold is, didn't know what the worth of stuff is, because back then they didn't trade with money.
Away.
Trade with livestock. You trade with something that you actually need, like clothing and that.
Exactly.
Yes. So what Diaz did, he and his friends came in, they traded, and for a while they did something horrible, which meant that the Khoisan, they fought back and they actually killed Diaz, him and his men. Right? And then one of the sailors...
I just want to come in there. When you say Khoisan, a lot of people have this thing, it is a derogatory term, which we know, but we are using it mainly because it's what people can relate to. It's what we have been taught as colored people, that you are Khoisan this and Khoisan that. Yes, we know it's a derogatory term, but our people are in the process of discovering the history. So we need to use this so that they can know as well that what we are talking about, because we can say Kam, we can say Kwe, etc. But our people won't understand because our history was so hidden from us that when we say certain thing, it's gonna look like this guy is confused. Understand? Because that is what was given to us by the colonizer. It was his story. Understand? It's not our history. You get it? But yeah, we're going very sorry with you.
No, it's fine. And then after in 1509, 1509, a few years after that, another sailor came. They did the same thing, traded with the Khoisan, and they unfortunately drank, in a wrong pothole or wrong water stream, which the Khoisan, our ancestors, considered as something sacred.
Sacred to them,
And they were killed for it.
Yeah, you can't just come into a person's home and start making food without their permission.
But what I want people to remind is, remember the Khoisan, they ran with arrows, bows, spears. These people came with
artillery, with weapons.
Yes. And they got defeated. So the Khoisan was actually also warriors, not just hunters and gatherers. Because how can you go into war without knowing knowledge of war?
And what people have this misconception that we were, our ancestors were a weak group of people, which was not the case because we fought them for 100 years.
Yes.
We fought the colonizers for 100 years and our ancestors died with bows and arrows and spears, bruh.
Yeah.
And they came here with their advanced weaponry and bullshit that they done while they were killing each other there in Europe. They came here because they realized, look here, we are killing each other, we are the same race, let's go and explore. And that's where it came in, where they came here to come and conquer and take the resources of this land because they were running out of space in Europe. Understand? They came here for spices and for cattle, etc., all the natural resources because they didn't have shit there. It's cold there, bruh.
But you know, the interesting thing was, when everything was said and done, Jan van Riebeeck came after that. But what was told to him is that he should have only made a dock here, like where the ships come in,
Exactly.
get a refill, and go
The
away.
replacement station.
Yes. What was in his mind? God forbid. He did something else.
Yeah.
Instead of just doing what he was told to do. Hoe sê, wat is that one man said? They come with a sadistische
Nathan.
Yeah. He poisoned the water supply of our people.
Our people, yeah.
He took away the strongest men that actually know how to fight, know how to hunt. Took them, chained them up, hurt them, beat them, struck them, and every time they tried to run away, just took them back, chained them up. And that's how it went for generations.
But if Jan van Riebeeck wasn't a first-class citizen because would you send first-class citizen on voyages
No.
when there's a possibility you can get killed?
Yeah.
So he was a prisoner, bruh. He was like you say, he was a baby in Europe. Understand? But then he came here and he saw the value of the land. He saw that our people are peaceful. Which today we still are. That's why we are the most welcoming people. Understand? And that's why we are not so quick to go into violence. But unfortunately, society has made us violent because when there is a case of poverty involved, it's the root of everything, bruh. The people say it's money, but our people didn't know money. Our people weren't dependent on the coins and shit of the British and the Dutch and the Portuguese because we had everything here. Understand? So they came with their system of the Western world and came and forced it on our people. Big saw this and then he started to take advantage of this because he saw that, look at these people have everything. We have basically in Europe, we busy, there's fucking plagues and shit happening there, the people are dying. So he then saw this and how we got to our people was by alcohol because there were certain people that were influenced. So now he then gave them this alcohol and so he took the land. The same that is happening in this present generation of a few hundred years ago where the farm workers were paid with alcohol. They call it the dope system. And a lot of us is still walking around with that symptoms, you know, of our ancestors where they were given barrels of wine, bruh, to work all day in the fucking sun, man, bro, to labor the soil. They weren't receiving pay, and plus they're working on their own land. And that's where this thing comes in, man. That you see this thing of colored, when certain colored says they are descendants of the Khoi or the Sun, you won't understand where they're coming from because you haven't sit in a conversation with him to understand the history, because our history wasn't documented. We have history that is passed down by our ancestors, by our elders, understand? So that's where it comes from. In my instance, I know I am of mixed descent. So is it in the colored community. You get your Cape Malay, you get your Nama, you get your Frika. If you go to the Northern Cape, those people are more intact with their ancestral lineage because they were isolated, and when they saw the shit happening at the Cape, they moved up. That's why you will find them in Namibia still alive today, right? But you mustn't, you should never take away the fact that we are still descendants of them, because a few of them moved up, a few of them established a settlement where they saw no colonizers around. Understand? And then the missionaries also come by. That's a whole other thing. So that's the people don't understand that this thing of color is not just we are confused. We know our history, we know where we come from, but our history isn't told. Understand? And there was in the past when my elders used to speak about the history, they were placed in prisons. They was said, nah, don't talk that language here, don't come here with your cliques and whatever. That's where the front teeth was also removed, understand? Also when it came to slavery, remember, they judge you according to how you about your teeth. That was also removed. So it's not that we don't have front teeth because of the fish
or because of a gang-related
gang-related thing, or it's to kiss nice or some shit like that. A liquor smack.
Yeah, I remember that video that they made of why the Scarlet people have that gap. And when they talk about confusion, that could be a good video to display the confusion that some of us might have about our history, because they think having the gap is wat sê jy praat lekker, lekker vry en die girl, no.
Identity was hidden in our culture, our history. So that's why when we say we are proud to be colored, we embrace this thing and we started to develop our own culture. Understand?
Yeah.
We started to embrace this term. Yes, there is some that don't like this term, but Cape Flats, I just knew colored, brother.
Yeah.
I just knew I'm a colored, I'm Kham. That's why I bought the night khakis. I bought the buffs, I bought the Ray-Bans.
Because we were told that's what you moet hê.
Oh wait, this is what the colored is, verstaan jy?
You have to walk with those sweatpants, with the straight down.
I
remember back when I was young growing up, I used to walk with all the older gangsters, you know. And leather jackets they used to.
The balaclavas and alles die.
Yeah, you're not a man.
Gracias.
Like a black man goes to the bush to become a man. Boy. You know what they told me? We are scarlet guys. We go to prison. Men. That was told. And if you come out, you get your jacket. You get your agnatte because some of the ones now you're a man.
Now you're a man, yeah.
And it doesn't matter which number, until you size, you're a man.
You're a man. And that's the case. Yes. And that's what people don't understand is that my Nguni brothers and their culture was or is still mainly intact. Remember, the colonizers settled here first.
Yeah.
So our ancestors were fighting them for hundreds of years, which then in the process made, because it's not like they didn't know what is happening. They then prepared themselves. That's why you get a Chaka Zulu that was a great warrior, bro, because he organized his people. He knew what was gonna come. Understand? And he created that nation. You see, when it came to our people, they used to fight in groups, because the concept that they have was that we all are one. There's no leader here. That's why when they go and hunt and kill, they all sit around this thing, and all the men go and the women remain behind, so that we all can be productive in this thing. So that if you go hunt alone, then it gives you that mindset, but here's my cosmo. Since it's but if we all go together and then we can share in that meal equally, so that's where it comes in, and that's how the British and those colonizers came, and they managed to then eventually overpower us because we didn't have that military kind of setup.
To think back, the San were hunters, the Khoi were farmers. And somewhere, I remember, the Khoi and the San, they also used to fight. I'm not going to lie about that. They had misconceptions about it, not misconceptions, misunderstandings. And after a while, of hundreds of years, they started to join one. That's where you get the Khoi San. It was the San and the Khoi. When they started living together, you had the Khoi that were herders. That's how we used to trade with cows and buck lambs, you know. In scraps was local, but lambs, you know, wild lambs, and then we used to trade with those type of animals. And when the white man came, right, let's not gonna put it down. He used to trade with meat. They needed meat, they needed vegetable fruits, and we had that. We were all, our ancestors were very well known with the land. They know which land, which fruit, plants, herbs, whatever you needed, the earth will provide for you. They knew every medical way of moving. If you go to the North Cape, as you speak to yourself, I was there, for a few times. The clan that I mostly met there was Nyama. That's where I started to learn a few bits of the language. My cousin, which is direct descended from them, is living here now. Those people, I can tell now, there's no crime. Or I can take it back then, there was not much crime because those people were on their own.
Okay.
They still do the real dance. They still love from the land. And for you and I, it might have looked dry. It was here about droog.
Yeah.
But they farmed with ostriches. They knew which plant it might look dead. They would go in the ground and remove it up. It looks like a potato, but it was wet as hell. So I do not know what kind of plant it was. But that's the interesting part for me. Is that those people still had our culture and was keeping it alive, and they were teaching the children to speak the language, the Nama language, the true language.
And that's the thing, that's where this misconception comes in. We are being portrayed on media as gangsters only. What's your thoughts on that? When you watch a movie and the crime boss or the gangster is a colored, how do you feel as a colored brother
I think it's
watching this?
I think it's mis.
How do you feel now at this time? Remember when we were young? I'm not sure if you know this movie, Dollars and White Pipes. Nou, hy was 'n movie, hy presies. Vir as hulle was hier, dat sy kyk hier hoe stiek die tief en whatever sien sy.
Gespeeld het al
op sien sy. So then it was quiet because it's our story, because it's like this. You know what the apartheid regime done? They took away non-white actors in roles that makes them as heroes. They didn't put that in the media. Understand, like a Shaft maybe in America, Ed Brothers, they's coming, they just making shit, he's breaking down whatever, but he's a hero, he's like a Robin Hood. So they took away that people. So now you can't relate to something if it is not you, or you can't see a person, or when you see a person on a movie screen, you need to then relate to that person, understand, in order to understand, okay, this we can do as well. But now if you see a white person there, you don't have that in you to say, okay, but ek kan ook 'n actor raak. So now when these movies come out on Dollars and White Paper, man, raak ek excited, want these broers wat ek ken, man. And they talk in my language, but I'm not saying that we are gangsters. I'm saying that we could relate because it was happening around us. And then we took it as law that this is who we are as a people. So when you watch this movie, bruh, when you see people that are criminals but they are coloreds, how do you feel, bro, man? Like what comes to mind when you see this happening?
The first time I was watching that movie, I was sitting with my parents. The old SABC 3. No, 2 played it. Then it went on and it came back on at 3, SABC 3. Wat ek het gekyk het. First, you see in the beginning part how he's going up, how he has fun with his friends, you know, die misluk wat hulle gemaak het. I'm like, yes. I used to do that nonsense when they had this white tent here by us. Ons wag vir hy mense om aan te staan, you know. Raak die stoele weg. Like, you related, like you said, we relate to it. But now it comes where the gangsterism came in and that. Ek kan nie sê, right, they are portraying us wrong. Oh, if you go out, even where I live here, when you stay here, go out, you'll find them. Those gangsters standing there, skip dice, all that. That is what's portrayed. But now, that movie is setting a right to people from the outside, like, this is how you'll find a kind of person. This is how they live. It doesn't show the other side where people are afraid of that life. It doesn't show the parents of those people. Remember, a lot of those people like that, come out of good homes. I know for certain a lot of them came out of good homes. I have a story of a friend. We used to grow up together right here in the street. He was killed last year, shot dead. His mother, sir, the cake sister, this big goods, said the son. His father was a pastor, his father died. unfortunately. So, but his mother kept him in a good light. And she tried to give him everything that he wanted in life, because his father wasn't there. Unfortunately, time happened. We all grow up. We moved to certain areas, met certain friends. And I can say I was in a very good circumstances where I made great friends because I did a lot of wrong stuff. That's why I got that name from you. People keep asking, where'd you get that name T.O.? Like, don't ask. But now I can't get rid of it because I walk outside T.O. Yes. Alright. Met different people. Different friends, you got influenced. Right? And depending on who you're talking to and who your friends are, you're gonna get influenced the wrong way. Right? And the interesting part was always for me, if you look at movies, they portray our colored people always as something bad. Tell me, in the movies from the 70s to the late 2000s, where was a colored person the hero or the good guy?
A Marvel superhero, Spider-Man.
No. I understand about that, yeah, but in South Africa,
I understand what that say. Like when was it that we were a businessmen?
Yeah.
When we were, guys that created stuff, entrepreneurs or what, and like Marvel superheroes, like when were we like Superman? Because when you look at a Superman, he's a protector. He's strong. He overcomes.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that roles. There wasn't that heroes for us growing up. That's why we then, in essence, we then start to idolize the wrong things as a youngsters.
There we go.
Because we are still unconscious. We are not aware of the knowledge of self. Understand? So now we start to adopt these people's methods and ways, and we start to then idolize them, and we want to be like them because that's what we see.
Yeah, and like, for instance, if you want to become successful in life, right? As a person, me as a child growing up, if I wanted to become successful in life, what was my options? You can't say, all right, look at this person, he made it in life, here's a role model for you. No. What did you see growing up? You see merchants, drug dealers, gangsters, killers, hitmen.
And who drives the best cars?
Yeah, precisely. And it's still done today. If you have any child,
who gets the most respect? Who's the most feared? Understand? So that's where it comes on. I think in my case as well, when I watch the movies, I used to have that as well, man. Look at this, is what life's about, man. But that's, in a way, it's also placing an identity on us that is not truly there. Understand? Because everybody needs to live, and these circumstances, it drives them to there. I'm not condoning fucking crime and shit like that. But you need to understand the root cause is poverty at the end of the day.
It is.
So in our communities, that's why it is crazy for me when people say, look here, but you can make better choices. That thing about there is work, you can make better choices. When you go to an area and there's work available and you tell the people that there is work available, firstly, the man needs a CV. They need a tax number. They need a bank account. They don't even have money to make CVs. They don't even have money to go to the fucking SARS. They don't even have money to of proof of residence or whatever. So now the thing is this, man. That's why it's not about choices. You must understand where the people are coming from.
Yeah.
And if you yourself was never involved in a rebellion, in a situation where there wasn't water, there wasn't food. Understand? If you yourself was never involved in single parents households, in witnessing bodies laying in your road on a daily basis, in friends that you spend with the weekend on Friday, you are chilling on Sunday, he's dead.
Yeah.
If you don't understand that lifestyle, if you don't understand a mother that needs to go and work, leaving you alone all day, you need to provide for your siblings in the house and things like that with the little you have. Then your mother come home, she's tired, she's cut tired, bruh. She don't even have a chance to speak with you and to educate you. She just, if she sees something is wrong, she must just move back because she's frustrated as well. Because she is being looked down at work and things like that. So then we grow up in these environments and then it choices we make because we aren't making it with a sober mind. Understand? And not enough is being said about that. Understand? So now you can't say that you need to make choices. Firstly, your choice isn't my choice, bruh. Firstly, you don't have the same choices I have. You might have. Here's your computer, you can make a CV and go apply for a job. In my case, there's fucking computer, there's no internet. I had to finish school to go and work. I had to do this. Now there's now more choices for me to make. So if you say you must make better choices, what fucking choices are you talking about?
The choices are not the same. And this one thing that what people keep on saying is that you're just lazy. I always had a problem with that. And when you see a colored person, either a black person, right? In our community, right, before all this was here, there wasn't computers, there was nothing. When we wanted to work at projects at school and whatnot, there was no library here. So what we had to do is, I had to get money from our parents to go to Paul. Paul is the closest town that we could have traveled. You had to get money from your parents. Now, unfortunately, your parents, most of our parents were factory workers. My parents used to work in Goodwood. There was a factory in that side. All of them work at that same factory. So they had no other choice but to work. And they were working from hand to mouth. Right? And back then money was worth something, a bit more. Right? We could have used the 500 and get travel from here to Paul and back. That's fucking interesting. I keep remembering that part in life. Then you have to go to Paul. You have to go get your paper and everything there. Now they won't give you a library, a ticket, whatever, because you don't stay in Paul.
No way. God damn.
So you have to ask someone that lives there. They did everything, then they have to come back. That's sacrifices that we have to make. There's a lot of people that didn't even need to make that sacrifices. Everything was there.
Oh wait.
There was a time when I had to go to high school. Right? There was children's parents who drove in beautiful cars. It doesn't even need to be a nice parking car. They drove them to school in a car. When it was storming, they were in that car going to school. When it was, it was hot as hell, the parents were there. Some of them have buses. We consider that as a luxury because we had to use the train. Stormy days, stormy nights. So you can't tell me we did not do any sacrifices. A lot of people in the Cape Flats where they had to walk through gunfire.
But that's what I want to say. You see, like you speaking about the libraries. There was libraries in our areas. But it was a mission to go to a library. Want ze wordt geroepen, bruh. De schoenen wordt afgevat, ze wordt gebullied, ze wordt whatever, man. Ze wordt geld gevraagd, ze zijn dat. You know that in itself is a mission. But I don't want people to think we're making excuses.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about understanding where we're coming from. So when you see a bra that is unemployed and is telling you that there is no work, you cannot say because you have a job, it's easy.
Yeah.
Because you didn't grow up like that, bruh. Understand?
Yeah.
You firstly, you maybe completed school, you have matric, you went to go and fucking learn further. That bruh finished at standard 5. He needed to drop out, he needed to go and work by the stores on the taxis and what, to make a kroon, to make money.
Yeah.
So now, when the guy is at a certain age, he wants to change, he wants to see, because now we see that, look at this, 100 rand a day,
it doesn't work out.
it's not working out. And now when he applies for jobs, he see, okay, you need matric. You need experience. You need to speak English or whatever the fuck.
That's the other thing that gets me so mad in this world.
You need to speak English. So now then that bra already have to now go back. He's already 30 years old. He now needs to step back and go and gain that stuff. He needs to go to night school. He needs to do this. He needs to do that because he don't know somebody in that place. And if he knows another person, that person always wants favors.
Yeah.
You know, there's as niks is verniet nie. My ouma het altyd gesê, die enigste ding verniet op die aarde is Jesus. Sien jy? Other than that is niks is verniet nie, bro. Verstaan jy? Jy moet sak vir jou ding. So now at the end of the day, that's the choice everybody needs to take into consideration. Man. What you see in media, is not who we really are as a people. So
It doesn't tell the whole story.
people
of
need to
what we
stop
have.
judging us on these movies, because when we speak a certain way, it doesn't mean we are gangsters. If we wear certain type of clothing, it's not that we are gangsters. It's the community. It's how we grew up. Understand? For you wearing a hoodie might think, nah, this bro is a gangster. Why is not wearing a shirt? Why is not wearing a fucking, a nice sweater and what? But we couldn't afford that stuff, man. And more than once, the clothes you're wearing is not even yours. It's your bra's.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Since you are chasing gaps, because there isn't even money to buy what is deemed decent clothes.
Yeah.
Understand? So people have this Western concept of how we must live in Africa, not understanding that here is different ways and different people understand beliefs. So that's the thing. I think that's where the slang come in when the here we speak. Like there's this thing when you hear a black person speak, you should now speak. They call it a black accent. You should
black accent, yeah.
Or something. When you see him somewhere, hey my brother, you should, whatever. And yes, I understand when people say it's offensive, but when it comes to the colored people as well, you get that where they will approach you, oh, hey, bro, masakan, oh, hey,
But
so that is also where we need to then understand where we are coming from as people. And firstly, when we speak to our black brothers, it's not that we can't speak English firstly. So that's why our English is not like we are pretending. It's like we call it's not fucking, we don't grow up English. So if I hear you speak English, it's the same like growing up, listen to hip hop music. You start to speak like Tupac eventually and 50 Cent and whatever, because it's what you surrounded. So when you see a group of people speak a certain way, you need to have that way you want to approach them in a respectful manner.
in a way we say also feel comfortable.
And understand.
Yes.
So then you start to, I think, adapt certain characteristics. But then now we live in a society where everything is a problem.
Yeah.
Where the masses is divided and heavily blinded and fighting each other instead of the oppressor and those who are putting in these rules to divide and conquer us. Understand? So that's where the slang thing comes in.
First thing I could say is that when it comes to that slang thing, if you remember, a lot of us grew up in multicultural schools.
Away.
And when you have to talk with your black brothers and sisters, you have to adapt that accent. If you speak in a certain accent to them and in a language which they understand, they'll look at you like, what did you say? Come again? Now we have to speak in their accent. And no one found it offensive.
Offensive, yeah, nobody.
Until media told them it was offensive.
It's offensive, and that's what's fucking our people up, right?
And there's a lot of things that people listen to some certain influencer say, and they say, alright, this influencer said, because he had this amount of followers, or he's this amount of famous, which means something that he said might be true. And it's not. Sometimes things that media tell people that are supposed to be true, it's not, it's wrong.
It's wrong, yeah.
You as a person must have a self-respect towards yourself in your own culture, but you also have to think for yourself.
You need to use logic, man.
Yeah, you need to think for yourself.
Away.
If someone tells you drinking clean water is gonna make you ill in a certain way, and you know drinking clean water, no, it's safe, it's good. Are you going to drink now muddy water?
Yeah.
If someone is labeling alcohol now, it's going to treat cancer. Alcohol. Right? Vodka something, vodka 6 something. It's going to heal cancer. Are you as a person now logically thinking, because it's on media telling you drinking alcohol or vodka is going to, are you going to go buy bottles of vodka and it's going to heal yourself?
My bro, this media thing is fucking our people up. I remember there was an incident of this goose. She was using this diamond, this fucking purple, blue dye to make the teeth white. But that shit is used for certain medical procedures, and it can be harmful. The same as it is when they start to say that we are a deputy white people. It's not all of us.
No.
It is, and that's where this next thing comes in, the different classism, where it comes in that I get this thing a lot where I say that, look here, we are being marginalized and oppressed. We don't have jobs. But then you will get people saying, but coloreds have the top management positions. But when you realize and look at these coloreds, it's the old colors from the apartheid. I call them the coon coloreds. You know, the house niggas. Understand?
Yes.
It's them that is already in their jobs. That they're working for government already for 50 fucking years.
Yeah.
Now you come a youngster and now you look at this person and say, wow, this person is a guy. That is not the case. It's because only select people are used in our community in order for us to build this jealousy and envy and you know this. And it comes in that when there is different classes, it is those people that are benefiting from the political party of the day in the Western Cape because they have their jobs, they have their houses, they have this, they
and
have
now
this.
they have to defend it.
And now they have to defend it. Now you see those that are defending it as all coloreds. They defend that and they think that that's how all coloreds is.
Yeah.
But that is house niggas, man, bro. Malcolm X used to say, you know, you get this bra sitting on the porch from the white man. He's not even in the house, my bro. He is sitting on the porch with a dog. So when master, he's living in the kennel with the dog, bruh. So when we come and we want to fight for what is ours, then he's the first to run. No, look at what master is a good master. Nee, master, kyk agter ons.
If it wasn't for master, you couldn't eat.
You couldn't eat. Now that's the mentality of some of our people, and that's the mentality of some of the people that are viewing us. That there is different economic fucking classes in the colored community. And the majority of us have no benefits whatsoever. We are in poverty. We are in communities where there is bullets flying like rain, bruh. When you live in our areas, bro, we are living with on a daily basis, so that's what makes I don't understand when we say,
what angers me most when you speak about the bullets flying and people do not understand. Sometimes you have those people that are taking video footage of what is happening in our areas, right? They would say, alright, they're uncomfortable about this area, what. Then you have those colored people, when the bullets are flying, they would run after them and say, oh yeah, that misconception, a lot of us are like that, we're happy.
Yeah, that's not the case.
Then they use that person they use that term called tokenism. What's that brass name? McCallum, that's works nobody. Now he comes. And he says, alright, this is bad what happened here, this colored community. If you vote for us, we're gonna happen. What people do not understand is, just like you said, they will defend that position because they know they're getting a benefit from it. But there's a time and place where that well will dry up. Then you'll see them singing a very different tune. For instance, you see what happened to the lung?
Yeah.
She was singing for master. When she wasn't working out, they threw her out. Where did she go to? She formed her own party, the good party. Now she was standing with colored people.
Yeah. And that's the case, bruh.
Then the other thing was, I'm so sorry, Mushi. So they tried the black thing out. When it wasn't working out for Mushi, what happened? He went away, formed his own party.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And that's where it comes in. When you see the people running after the bullets, you know, some of these guys, they grow up in this environment. So it's the same like, you know, people think PTSD is just when it comes to military veterans. Do you know how much of us, my bro, have that trauma, have that, we are so, my bro, that our mind is so wired that we're constantly in a war zone. We are constantly in a battle.
Yeah.
So shit like that don't phase us anymore. That is what we grew up in. Understand? And that is where it comes down that it's not all of us, but media have those certain ways where they interview only the bad of us. Only those who are fucking not
say it's a bad influence.
Yeah, into our children, and now that is they portrayed like colored stories and stuff like that.
Because it gets more views.
It gets more views.
The stories are more interesting.
Interesting.
You know? Something that might sound good to the ear.
Yeah, into the ear. And that's what I noticed when it comes to our community. When you speak about, example, anti-blackness, I done an experiment, you get a lot of views and likes.
Yeah.
When you speak against the anti-blackness in the colored community. But when you talk about gang violence or poverty, it's not so a lot. So now what a lot of these guys do is they now know their market. So now they are operating in that market where they are now speaking about all the negativity of colored people.
Yeah.
Because they know it's lies. Because some of us, we fucking like people liking our shit.
Yeah.
We get,
It's like a high.
It's a high, understand?
Like now this video of you is trending like, oh, this is a lot of likes. Right, I'm going to do it again. Now you see, right, you make it different, it doesn't
Make.
So
and I
now
done that experiment, bruh. I spoke about the anti-blackness, but then I mentioned it's because, not that we are anti-black, it's because of a lack of knowledge and understanding of who we are as a people. So now it's portrayed as anti-black, which is not the case.
Yeah.
But I think people didn't understand, but they liked it anyways because they just saw anti-black in the colored community. So then, when you speak about our issues, you get also a lot of attack. That is not this and we race and everything like that. But that's where the classes will come in and different classes within our community. You get those that were raised in the house with mothers and fathers and whatever. They watch KTV, they played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon and all this shit. Then you get brassen that skiet gatties heel dag in die pad. So as mannen wil bystap in manskap and whatever they do this shit, you pick up these slang, you pick up these houdings. Understand? So you get different classes within the colored community itself. The same as in the black community, the same as in the white community, the same as in the Indian. It's different classes. But now the problem is that we are judging certain individuals and then saying that they represent the whole community.
That's a problem.
That's the biggest problem I have, bruh. Because you can't just judge what I'm saying as law, because this is my lived experience, it is your lived experience. That's why we are doing this thing, because not a lot of our stories are being told. And I encourage people to do the same thing, to talk out so that we can have an understanding, so that we can have this, where we can unite as people, as people of color, whether you black, Indian, understand? We can unite because it only makes logical sense, bruh, that when the ones being oppressed unite, they can then overthrow the oppressor.
Yeah.
But now when the ones being oppressed are divided, they can't overthrow this, bruh, and people that is oppressing them.
Yeah.
So now we are fighting for crumbs. We are now worried about you're racist this, you're racist that, but we're the same people in essence, understand? They found us here, and when I say they found us here, I'm not saying that the Nguni people, black people found us here, because I have a different view on that as well. I'm saying that, you see, my ancestors, some of them came from ships. They were forcefully brought here.
Yeah.
I asked myself, imagine that people, when they came here the first time and they landed on the shore, they had their history, identity, everything intact, bruh. Over the years, it got missing. Understand? So now, when I say they found us here, I mean the colonizers. Understand?
Yeah.
They came with their rules and their shit and whatever, and they already start from day one to divide us, bruh. From day one, the fact that they placed the posts and poles in Cape Town around the castles, that's when the first borders were created. And why do you create a border? To divide people.
Yeah.
Understand? Because now this is my side and that is your side. And then they played on our skin color, on where we couldn't understand each other and things like that. The same like the Kwe and the Kam, they didn't also understand each other in a certain way, because they had different ways of speaking as well.
Yeah.
Understand? And the colonizers, remember, they already came through war, bruh. They already had fucking medieval times fighting and crusades and killing each other and whatever. So they are military minded. And they came here and they saw, okay, that is weaknesses. But not taken away from our people. We had that strength as well. But the problem is we didn't have that idea that we now need to defend our land. because there was no intruders and shit. We all knew our place.
Yeah.
We all knew that is your section, this is my section, this is my whatever, that is your clan and that clan. We never had that in our mind that we are gonna be coming under attack and our land is gonna be taken away from us. When they already experienced that, the Vikings and all that manskap, understand?
Yeah.
So they already built that thing. So that's where it comes in, bruh. That at the end of the day, man, we as people need to understand that we are sitting with a situation where we are being oppressed, the masses. And the moment we remain silent, that's the moment when we die. That's the moment when there is no need to live anymore. Understand? So we need to talk about these things and things that we are saying in the show on this podcast. It's our views and our opinions. Understand? It's things that we have lived. So that is just a short, what do you call this thing? A proclaimer.
Yeah.
Yeah. No? So it's our views. Understand?
And what you can take out of it is that you might live in the same country, the same province, whatever, but you live in a different world.
Okay.
That's always the point I'm making. When I was speaking in Paul, I was speaking with a bunch of boys. I told them, if you put me and you in the same situation, I bet you to God I will outwork you in any situation because I was told to work my ass off and to never stop. If you are put in, and I was talking about a bunch of white boys, that were boys that we were standing there just talking and they say, they voel kak out as they say, But I was speaking to them and one of the assignments was that to ask people of different not class, but a different lifestyle of how they live in that. And I thought, all right, I'm going to speak one. I love maybe. And I told them how I grew up and all that. My cousin actually recently had the assignment of where you have to ask people of the apartheid era how they live. So they asked my grandfather and grandma, factory workers. My grandpa had to leave school at grade 3, at the standard 1, to go and work. My grandmother, guardians actually, didn't have it better, had to leave, had to go to the factory. And so there wasn't any decisions to be made. Right? Your mother needs food, you need extra money, leave, work. Right? And they weren't paid that much, 59, 28. And back then it was a lot of money, but they were paid by that. So that was a very different experience to talk to those children, to tell them like, we don't have the same experience. We don't have the same thing set up because if we look at life as we look at now, colored, black and white, if you put us on the same level field or playing field and make it flop, and they told us people from day one begin, everyone gets the same percentage and what work until we get to the finish line. Who do you think is going to finish first? So they had to put rules in to keep us from overperforming and outperforming because we're hard workers. There's a reason why the French Legion, I'm telling you now, the French Legion is wanting South African men and boys to go to their armies and fight. There's a reason why they want workers from South Africa in Canada. There's a reason they want South African workers in New Zealand. Because they know we're hard workers, but it's only here by us where we cannot find work. And if you do find work, you'll get underpaid. I could never understand that until I had to go into that life myself.
On the final point, when you say, I ought to say, when you say so, what is your view on people saying that it's better than nothing when you talk about the underpaid situation?
No.
Because in my opinion is that, look at this, it's this thing, you can't live with that mindset that it's better than nothing when you know what your worth is.
Yeah.
Because it's unfair for somebody that inherited land or whatever. He is now somehow a manager. He is earning about 60 grand a month.
Yeah.
And then now me, I need to work, I need to go and learn and have degrees and shit like that to earn that money. Understand? So I think that is unfair where it comes from that mindset that it's better than nothing. We must stop being people that uses as an bitaras ng size kagay.
But
Because our ancestry, bruh, if we should really take it back, they were fighters, bro. They had everything. So why must we just settle it as bitter nice, man?
Which angers me the most. You need to be thankful.
Thankful.
That word. You need to be thankful. When I started working, my parents used to tell me, you need to be thankful that you have a job. I was like, thankful. Okay. As the years went on, I went and I said, hey, but I need an increase. Because the same people that's working in the line of work that I'm doing, they're getting about 15, 60, 70, 80. I'm not making 6 now at the moment. I'm not making 6. So how the hell am I supposed to survive? You still need to be thankful. No. If I look, so I went and did a bit of research. Colored and black people. Do you know how we make compared to the counterparts?
Oh yeah.
Then they tell us we need to work hard. Alright, you work your ass off. They get profits, we get nothing. Maybe an increase of 5%. Alright. So if you tell a colored child now, alright, this is the situation, so you have to go and study. That child goes and study. Right? You study 3, 4, 5 years, depending on which direction you're going in. Goes and seeks a job, you can't find a job. Either they tell him he's overqualified or he has to begin from the bottom level. Already, he built up that experience, he built up that certificate of knowledge of whatever. He still needs to get that measly sum of money. Alright, so that's fine. So that child cannot go and study. Let's say, for example, the child cannot go and study, so he goes and work. Now this work requires experience. Now the interesting thing is they will tell us as colored children, black children, but now you need your certificates. So experience doesn't mean you need your certificates. But then when you have your certificates, then you need your experience. So they try to keep us as much as they can.
Yeah, they try to.
So if that doesn't work, to break our spirits, they divide us. And how do they divide us? We all know how to divide us. They employ that BEE Act. BEE. I said, alright, we're only taking this type of people, of the certain people. And I found it strange. You know, when I was most famous for that police statement I made. But it was true. It came out. The Poppy Act came out. The investigations came out and they said, but it was true. They were taking in African black males, white females, and black females. There was nothing that said colored. That was the aim. And I found it interesting. So I asked my friend that came into, how the hell did you make it? We did the same thing. We passed. My uncle, and I was like, what? So it wasn't about experience at that time. So it wasn't about.
That's the thing, yeah. And that's where it comes again in where they put things in place to divide us. Like we know the BEE thing. You know, it's there on paper, but it's not our reality. Yes, people say colored people benefit or whatever the case and stuff, but it's not the reality. They just put shit on paper, man. You know, to keep us fighting each other, to keep such conversations going, because in essence, such conversation, it causes, you know, questions and divisions and things, because now I also have a view and I can say I'm benefiting from this and I'm not benefiting from that. So in essence, when you go out into the streets, that's why I'm saying judge a person according to their actions and what they do, especially those in authority. Understand, you have a situation where the political parties work together and march for equal representation, but they don't employ equal representations. They don't give tenders to companies and make sure that they employ equal representation in the companies. So judge people according to their actions. You will see that they have money to maintain sports fields in the city, around the city, and parks, and all these other bullshit. But they do not have enough to supply people with electricity points. Then there's an issue where people steal electricity because they are waiting for the government to do what is needed to put in these boxes. Yeah. But now it's like you must wait when I'm ready. But as het ander nasie gewees het, their kind that living in a waterfront and they see now a pothole, it gets immediately repaired. If they log now a complaint wherever, it gets immediately repaired. in the cities and in the suburbs, but in our townships, in our hoods, in our ghettos, my bro, nothing is getting done.
But which I say, people confused when they say, when we talk about the Western Cape itself, the Western Cape, it's called the Western Cape Province. It's not called Cape Town.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Cape Town is not the Western Cape itself. That's not the representation. If you just go outside of Cape Town, what do you see?
Yeah, 5 minutes in either direction.
What do you see?
If you take a drive, and
That's right.
My bro.
But now you have this thing that they're not supplying us work. Our education system that which they give to us doesn't work for us correctly, right? Because it doesn't give us anything to go further in life. They kept us from proceeding further in work. They put us in harsh circumstances to live, right? Where they might put off your water. Your parents, the older generation, some of them are paying water about 250,000 in water. You know about that. And now you don't have electricity, you don't have ways to travel. Like when I talk about ways to travel, the train system is failing. A lot of things, and they still expect you to be fine with that situation.
To be okay.
Yeah, just to be thankful that you're still breathing. And they expect you. They expect you. You don't have work. You don't have anything. Now you're in a situation where you're impoverished. You have no other way. What do you think people would do to get food on the table? A lot of us are sitting. If you're a man, you have a wife, or you have a girlfriend with a child, or you have a family. You as a young person, young, I say between the ages of 13 and 29, right? You need to go and find work. You need to go and find money to put food on the table, to keep the power, to keep the. You don't have the option of going and finding a work that quickly, right? Because you do put on your CV, you did this and that. They said, oh, we cannot help you, or you're not qualified, right? You try to go and work on farms and that, and they pay you the measly amount of what, 150, right? 200 each a month. That's not enough to support a family. You're impoverished, you have no other way. What do you think people turn to? That's where crime,
because poverty leads crime to everything, right? And that's and that's what we said. We must break loose from this mindset that okay, baas, and was us dankbaar, and it's better than nothing, because that shit is killing us as a people.
Yeah. And remember, that's the older generation. That's how they used to live.
Yeah.
And that is the mentality they're pushing on the new generation. And for me, I'm more and more appreciate a lot of our young people are waking up.
And that's what is needed. But guys, thanks man. That's our segment for today.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe our channel so that we can reach the more out there. And if you have any comments, leave it in the comment section. Anything that in topics that we need to talk about. If you have any ideas on how we can do the setup better, whatever, we are more willing to learn. Because like I said, not enough is being told about us by us. You know, there is people telling our stories, but they don't have experience of our lifestyles.
Or they just given a wrong representation of our stories.
Or just a small stuk. Hulle gee nie die volle waarheid nie, man. Verstaan? En mense moet hier die volle waarheid. So yeah. So stay tuned for the next episode. Something else you want to raise, bro?
We are looking more to invite more people.
Interested of being a guest, you can let us know in the comment section. Radio base and everything, we are on the Cape Flats. As I bereid is, very bereid staan met sy kop.
Yeah.
En dan sal ons paraat. But thanks, bro, man. Gents, subscribe to our channel. Females, everybody, subscribe to the channel.
Follow Brother L on TikTok.
Find me on TikTok. Follow us and share our videos because the more it is, the better. But we're out.
Thanks. See you guys.
Stuck in the gutters. This one go out to the colors. 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 I send this one out to my brothers and all of the sisters who love us and all of those stuck in the gutters. This one go out to the deep in my skin. I feel it within. I hope you can swim.